We got Cole Matthews against Brian Courtney. So I think most people know Cole Matthews started out the season at number 1. He was the highest returning All-American at the weight. I think meanwhile, Brian Courtney, was he selling like phones for Verizon? What was going on with him?
Yeah, it's a crazy story because, I've seen him maybe 6 weeks ago. A friend of mine, Roman Perryman, shout out to Roman Perryman and the Roman Around podcast. Roman posted a picture with Courtney at the wrestling club that they were coaching at, C2X, down in, I believe, Fort Mill, South Carolina. And Courtney was a high school or a science teacher and just gets linked back up with Coach Garland decides to go to Midlands just for funsies and ends up doing really
funsies?
well. Yeah.
Wait, time out. He went to Midlands for funsies.
Yeah, he didn't have anything to do over the weekend after Christmas. So
I go watch the UFC for funsies, and he's going to do the Midlands. Okay.
Yeah, so a little bit of funsies goes on, and he does well. And what do you know? He's back in Charlottesville in grad school. What a unique story. But, maybe you kind of see a lot of guys sitting out a lot of matches these days and things like that, could play into his advantage maybe come March, that he is a little bit well-rested, right? He had not only a physical break, but mentally as well. So,
yeah, burnout's always a real thing, right? And he's certainly not going to be burned out.
And talked about it in the intro earlier, but these guys are familiar foes. Coach Garland told me they've wrestled 9 times in their life, dating back to, kind of youth league wrestling. And wow, just nice a beautiful
he's
transition.
So good at his head in the hole, yeah. I want to get to what Coach Gavin said about Matthews after this. Okay, so nice defense by Courtney. So he said, he's really good, and started giggling. He goes, he's similar to Philippi. He's got great counterattacks and good on top, but he needs to get to his offense earlier. He needs to get more comfortable attacking early. And he goes, and this is, I thought, was a really honest statement by the coach. He goes, he kind of caught some guys by surprise last year, and he goes, that's obviously not going to happen this year. And you know that, like these guys, once you start winning, everybody's scouting you to either learn how to beat you or learn how to do what you're doing. So, you have to, if it's just the same as if you won a state title, sometimes winning the second one's harder than the first one because now everybody knows you're coming.
Oh, everyone's going to give you their best shot, right? And when you're the guy, you're not looking at the target anymore. You are the target. And comes into the season ranked number 1 in the country. This is not JV wrestling, right? Everyone's going to give your best shot. No one is going to be scared of that ranking at this level.
Look at the shoulder here. Look at the shoulder here, Christian. Was it sixth time we've seen this?
Yeah, this position.
But who's winning that shoulder position, right? And the guy's got to be ducking. They're not concentrating on re-ducking underneath it. They either got to duck the foot. Yes. Now there's an effort to do that. Or just reposition your shoulder. But see, now Matthews is going to probably climb out the back here and win this game. Courtney did a nice job there.
He held on to that foot somehow and just so funky. So, good first period. 2-1 for Matthews. 19 seconds of riding time.
Hey, does Courtney's headgear look about 6 sizes too big for him? Just needs to grow his hair out another couple inches?
All right, so I just got some crazy news.
Intel.
Crazy. Shout out to Warren Stewart. He... father of Hudson Stewart, 74-pounder for UVA, just said Courtney isn't even in Charlottesville. He's still teaching in South Carolina and doing school online for UVA. So he's not training in the room with the team full time. He's training in South Carolina still.
We got a blood spot and so we got a brick and a blood spot. So let's sort it out. The blood spot's pretty simple. Blood time. Garland gave the referee a pat on the back. I love when the explanation of what the other guy's challenging Gavin's face was like, oh, whatever. And we still got to unpack Okay, how far away is South Carolina from UVA?
So, I'm no geography guy, right? But I live in.
I'm Google mapping as we speak. Go ahead.
I live in Richmond. Charlotte, North Carolina is about 4.5 hours from me. Add an hour to Charlottesville, and then maybe 6 hours.
4 hours and 23 minutes, 271.6 miles.
Fort Mill to Charlottesville?
No, I put Charlotte to Charlottesville.
Well, try Fort Mill, South Carolina.
Fort Mill South, okay. You get geography here too, folks. We're not scared. Fort Mill.
One, two, three, four.
Oh, now the count just starts because on the leg, on the reverse single, that's why they called it.
I see.
It's 288 miles, 4.5 hours. So you're close. I mean, but they're just a commuter school, just like Merrimack was. It's no big deal. Wow. I do the 300-mile commute every day, one way.
Matthews did a really, really good job. He jacked up those underhooks, drove Courtney to the edge of the mat, and then, boom, hard snap into a front headlock. And this is where this guy has made money. I mean, he is so good in a front headlock position.
So we're down to 1 minute, 3-1. Courtney will have choice next period. It'd be interesting to see if he picks down. He probably needs to, but Matthews is really good there. He's really good in that head in the hole position, which you don't see as much anymore. You see a lot more short offense, people not trying to get in front headlock, trying to keep their hands clear. So
underhook on the left, head position for Courtney. Jackson up to the edge, and
that's twice they've called an action, right?
That's exactly what I was going to say, right? You kind of expect a stall call there, so hard snap.
Got 10 seconds left here in the period. I'll tell you one of the other things that Pitt is underrated at, and that's just being inside, winning inside position. Right, Christian? Like pummeling one more time, winning the collar ties here.
Yeah, and one thing you ever watch?
Oh, wait, somebody got lost. Holy cow, Virginia Tech's up. Oh, I thought it was 18-3, excuse me. 13-8 after 7 matches, so it depends where they started, but that's a very interesting duel.
And I believe they started at 25. So.
Okay, so that would make North Carolina State. Yeah, Hidley would be favored, and then Bolin would be favored, and then Chiffon would be favored. No, I'm sorry. Hidley would be favored over Bolin. Trumbull would be favored. So NC State is probably favored to actually win that duel, even though they're losing by 5.
Right. So Courtney picked bottom to start the third.
And real quick, Pitt's got VTech next week, and VTech's had some great duels this year already with Cornell and Mizzou. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Courtney picked bottom.
Yeah, Courtney picked bottom, and Matthews this is where he's good, right? Hard to get out from. Only 22 seconds of riding time, so escaping a takedown wins this for Courtney, although, you've kind of seen Matthews push the action and holding on to that ankle. That was kind of one of those times that you wish you had that brick back, because maybe you could have asked for a generous count there. But
that'd have been a quick one, right? But they're really good at this figure 4 leg ride, right? That outside leg in instead of the inside leg in. They're very, very good at that. I mean, I've seen Philippi do it.
And
Corsi do it.
And that's some Jordan Lean stuff right there. That Jordan Lean was really good there, and he was at Pitt for several years. So, still the kind of compounding interest of having a wizard of Jordan Lean in the room.
So wait a minute, they just warned Matthews for stalling. He's like, what do you want him to do? Like, you haven't called it all night, right? Like, just let's stay consistent, right? 10-2.
Yeah, that, and you've been pushing the guy to the edge and riding him.
Yeah, you gave away 2 stalling calls on the other guy when, double underhooks. So, like, what is stalling here, right?
So they're going to hit Gavin with coach's misconduct.
Well, that's just the warning for you can't question a referee's judgment, and, that's fine. You know what it is. I like the fact that Gavin is not even remotely concerned about I have to wear a collared shirt and I have to wear something that has my university on it.
Look at the difference in the coaching staff, how they're dressed for Pittsburgh and UVA.
The Paulsons and Jack Mueller and Garland are always G to the Q. Always G to the Q.
Right.
Like, Gavin looks like he's ready to go work out. Gavin looks like he's still 2 pounds over and just getting a little water in him before he goes and cuts. Garland looks like he's ready to go to a fundraiser.
Pittsburgh is
blue collar, baby.
Yeah.
They're blue collar.
Quite literally, with 2 coaches on the bench wearing shirts with blue collars.
Well played, sir. Well played. And the Paulsons are always dressed to the nines. But when you walk around with 3% body fat, almost everything looks good on you, right?
So that was a 4 count. Matthews, just the veteran. He's savvy. He's an All-American, right? You push the guy out of bounds when you're at 4.
Well, and then Courtney dove straight out, and then the Pitt wanted the call, and so now.
No, they went out of bounds. Center.
So.
You're probably doing a good job as a ref if both sides are mad at you, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Either you're doing a great job or a phenomenally terrible job, right? So Matthews 4-1 with the riding time. We're going to close the duel out at 1:49 when we come back. One last match, 22-3 Pitt at this